ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भृगो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम गुरुदेव भगवान शिव शंकर भोलेनाथ कैलाशपति महाराज की जय। भगवान व्यास जी महाराज की जय। शंकराचार्य भगवान की जय। स्वामी चिन्मयानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी दयानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी प्रबुद्धानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी शुद्धानंद भगवान की जय। साध्वी आनंद ज्योति जी की जय। माता पिता की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता chapter 5, and in chapter 5 verse number 3 we are going to see. In verse number 2 we saw Bhagavan saying both renunciation and performance of action. Renunciation of actions, renouncing the actions, and performance of action, yoga, leads to liberation. But of these two performances, performance of action, of these two performance of action, action as yoga is better than leaving actions. Leaving actions means taking up sannyasa, doing action, doing karma. And with doing karma, understanding the akarma is better than leaving all actions and then understanding, trying to understand the akarma. Of the two, it is better to do karmas. Bhagavan is saying that karma yoga is better than a mere life of sannyasa without the necessary preparation. He explained why this is so. Taking up sannyasa without preparation it may be dangerous situation. Without understanding, without proper knowledge, without proper guidance, sannyasa might be a dangerous proposition. That's why Bhagavan says it is better to gain knowledge first. Keep understanding, do your karmas, do karma yoga, understand the topic, and then take up sannyasa. Understanding the topic means understanding the karta as a karta. The topic is not outside. The topic is neither inside, I will say. It is you. It is the self which is the topic. Self-realization is the topic. Understanding self is the topic. And we have to keep this topic as the aim. And keep on doing karmas. Keep on doing karmas as yoga, karma yogas. And praying Bhagwan that please our mind should not get deviated or get into the sadhans towards the topic, towards the realization, liberation. Because only way for Grasta is keep on doing karma as karma yoga and pursuing knowledge simultaneously. Because liberation is through knowledge only. No karma is going to liberate you. Liberation is through knowledge only. No karma, no ritual, nothing, no prayer is going to liberate you. No meditation even will liberate you until and unless it is the knowledge. It is the knowledge which is going to liberate you. Correction of error. Correction of error is the only liberation from the fear, from the Dvaitam. Correction of error, of self being other than the Brahman himself. This correction is liberation. And understanding this through knowledge is the only way. Other than knowledge, there is no way. Even all the kathas and kahanis are for knowledge and then liberation. As soon as the knowledge happens, the liberation is there. As soon as you know that this is not a sarpa, it is a rajju, the fear is gone. This knowledge is liberation. Keep on pray, keep on japa, keep on doing japa. This is not sarpa, this is rajju, this is not sarpa. Without understanding, this is sarpa, this is not sarpa, this is not sarpa, this is not sarpa, this is not sarpa, this is rajju, this is rajju, this is rajju will not help. Only the knowledge of rope, knowledge of rajju is going to remove the error of sarpa. Therefore, knowledge of Brahman is going to help, for liberation. This is what Bhagwan says. Bhagwan says, Karma yoga is better than mere life of sannyasa without necessary preparation. And preparation is through karma yoga only. Karma yoga prepare you for knowledge. Karma yoga prepares you for liberation, for moksha. One cannot do PhD straight away without going to school, college, and other institution. You can't do PhD on day one without proper preparation to go into the preparatory classes. Even the preparatory classes are important for PhD. For solving absolutely difficult mathematical problems, you need to know simple tables. Simple tables are required to be known. You should be prepared. This is preparation towards moksha. Karma yoga is a preparation. Karma yoga prepares you. It makes antakaran shuddhi is done through karma yoga. Antakaran shuddhi leads to viveka. Viveka makes you jigyasu. Thrive for knowledge. And jigyasu then asks the proper questions to a right teacher for liberation. This leads to liberation. Then you go through Shastras. Shastras are sadhan for liberation. Therefore, Bhagavan says that Karma Yoga is better than mere life of sannyasa without necessary preparation. He explained why this in the next verse, which we will see today, verse number 3. The one who is free from opposites is released from bondage. Karma Yoga prepares you for this. Opposites means neither you are more towards sukham and nor more towards dukkham. Whatever is, you don't get involved into sukham or dukkham. This is what Bhagavan is going to explain. Let us read the verse. See, I am not a great Sanskrit knower. I can't sing. Gita is a song. There are many rishis, sannyasis, and big singers who can bring in swara and laya and sing Shrimad Bhagavad Gita beautifully. Even pronunciation of shlokas are not proper. But still, what we need is not the pronunciation or the right swara or laya or tal. We don't need anything. What we need is the understanding. The right understanding of the shloka, the right meaning of the shloka. So, with you all, with this, I am also learning. I am a learner. And learning is a process. And we continue doing this process, going through this process. Keep on learning. Even teaching is learning. My teacher, my Guruji says it. Swamiji says, teaching is teaching oneself, is learning for oneself. Teaching is learning for oneself. It is teaching oneself only. When you teach others, it is teaching oneself only. So let us all keep teaching each other. And in the process, we teach ourselves. Because the topic is not other than ourselves. It is not other than me. That why teaching is me, of me, for me. So Bhagavan says, ज्ञेयः स नित्य सन्न्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न काङ्क्षति निद्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बन्धात् परम् उच्यते. यह, the one who na dveshti, does not hate, dveshti, dvesh, na kankshati, does not long for anything, does not kanksha, akanksha, sah, that person, nitya sannyasi, always renunciate. Jnane should be known as Mahabhaho, O mighty armed Arjuna. He indeed nirdhavandva, free from opposites, dvandva, free from the two opposites, likes and dislikes. Bandhataha, free from bondage. Sukham, effortlessly. Param uchyate, is released. The person who neither hates nor longs, longs means thrive, longs for anything, that doesn't get after things, should be known as always renunciate. Arjuna, the mighty armed, one who is free from the opposites, likes and dislikes, opposites, likes and dislikes, love, hate, these are opposites, is indeed effortlessly released from the bondage, is not bound. He is liberated from the bondage. The one who understands is the person who neither hates anything nor longs for anything. He is free from both the opposites. He takes the middle path. He is free from all bondages. The one who is not affected by the likes and not affected by the dislikes. He is not affected by the sukhas and the dukkhas, is free. He is effortlessly, he is not bound. There is no bondage of likes and dislikes. He is free. We saw that in answer to Arjuna's question whether sannyasa leads to moksha or karma yoga leads to moksha. Bhagavan said that both leads to moksha. If you have the knowledge, you already are sannyasi. If you already have the knowledge of likes and dislikes, if you are not a jnani, there is a choice in that. There are two lifestyles for pursuing knowledge. Having said this, Krishna hints at the difficulties inherent in merely giving up actions. Karma sannyasa without the necessary preparation, and say that karma yoga is preferable. To say that karma yoga is better than karma sannyasa is strictly from the standpoint of one's qualification. Since both are means of moksha alone, the karma yogi and karma sannyasi are both mumukshus. They both desire liberation, freedom. The only difference is that karma yogi has duties to perform and sannyasi doesn't have any duty. And if one has no duty to perform, one should be able to live with oneself and pursue knowledge to the exclusion of everything else, which takes certain preparedness. To be one with oneself, one needs a preparation. You can't live with yourself. Is it possible? It's difficult. You need to prepare yourself. This is why Bhagwan says, Karma Yoga is better than simply giving up actions. Krishna definition of sannyas is, Bhagwan says, Bhagwan wants Krishna to understand what sannyasa means. Through this, he wants everybody to understand. You do not become sannyasi simply by giving up actions, even though by your appearance people may look upon you as one. You are not a sannyasi if the inner preparedness or maturity that characterizes a sannyasi is not there. The external symbols, Bhagwan very clearly says this now. The external symbols like wearing orange clothes, maybe some psychological help. It may give some psychological help to the person who takes to the lifestyle of sannyasa in order to pursue knowledge, combined with the discipline of lifestyle itself. External symbols can help a person bringing about the inner changes necessary to prepare the mind for knowledge. These external factors are an advantage if person is ready for this lifestyle. But if person is not ready, such a lifestyle can become a decided disadvantage. So you have to prepare. So without jnana, or at least certain preparedness, sannyasa can be a real problem. You need to have complete knowledge. You need not have complete knowledge, but some insight and cheerful disposition are definitely required. If this is not there, sannyasa is definitely a problem. So you have to be cheerful. Disposition. The person is neither in the world where he or she can work things out, nor he or she in the world of sannyasi. The person is somewhere in between sannyasi, without a field in which to polish oneself. Under such circumstances, sannyasa becomes an onerous responsibility, one that the person is not really able to fulfill. This is why Bhagwan says that Karma Yoga is better than simply giving up action by merely changing your lifestyle. You do not become a sannyasi, where a person who neither hates nor longs for things is to be understood as a sannyasi. An adjective nitya is also added to the sannyasi. Nitya sannyasi does not mean eternal sannyasa here. Rather, the nitya sannyasi is one who is a sannyasi always, as opposed to the person who is sometimes a sannyasi and sometimes not. This sometimes sannyasi is called adhachittaka sannyasi. Kadachittaka sannyasi. Kadachit sannyasi. The right word is kadachit. कभी है कभी नहीं है. कभी पालन करते संन्यास का, कभी नहीं पालन करते हैं. With reference to certain things, everyone is a nitya sannyasi, and with reference to everything for a certain period of time, everyone is called kadachitta sannyasi. With reference to certain things. For example, with reference to balloons spinning tops and Barbie dolls, you are a nitya sannyasi. In fact, with reference to many things you loved once, without which you could not live because they were so important to you and which you have completely grown out of, you are nitya sannyasi now. All the things you liked previously when you were a child, now you don't need them. You understood. The dinky cars When I was young, there used to be small cars called dinky cars. Once there was a big liking for those cars. Video games. We used to have video games. A small box with catching, kachak, 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 kachak. Those video games. Now there is no liking or disliking. There is neither liking for it nor disliking for it. All those things. The Barbie dolls. Now there is no need. These likes and dislikes are gone for these things. We become nitya sannyasi for these things. You did not give up these things. Nobody gave up these things. You never said, okay, I don't need them now. You just left them. You simply grew out of them. That is how you grow up to nitya sannyasa. And there is kadachitta sannyasa, kadachitta sannyasa. So this is nitya sannyasa from all these things. When you grow out of certain things, and when you grow out of all this form, you have to grow out of this form. That will be sannyasa. There is no need, there is no change. You never changed from these things. Only the attitude changed. You grew out of it. You really wanted to drive a car, your father's car, the Fiat it used to be, or Ambassador, or maybe some other big car. Fascination for driving. But then you learned driving and you used to drive. And now you don't. Now you don't go for drive anymore. Driver take you to the office and he brings you back. You have just grown out of all these things. You are not attached to. Growing out of likes and dislikes. If you had given them up, you would still be attached to them. But you have grown out of them. You have not given them up. You are no more attached to it. Are you attached to your dinky cars or all your khilonas? No, you are not attached to them. You have not given them up. You have grown out of them. You have grown up now. You no longer think about them. Let alone talk about your having given them up. If a man says that he has given up a title and a job, for example, it becomes the person has only given them up. He has not grown out of them. People retire, they say, I have given up the job, but still attached to that job because it is given up. He has not grown up. Retirement should be growing up. Now there is no need. A taste or a value for what has been given up remains in the mind, which is why the person talks about them. No one ever says, I gave away the garbage the day before yesterday. Do you say? You gave up the garbage? You simply leave the garbage out and forget about it. If however you will keep talking about the garbage, then you still have the value for it. Similarly, anyone talks about what one has given up, it means that the person still has a value for it. Whereas you do not say, I have given up spinning tops, balloons and dolls, because you have grown out of them. If you have only given them up, you will be afraid to face them because they still remain a tempting factor in your life. Being tempering objects, you are not free from desire for them, and therefore you cannot face them, face what you have only given up. Naturally, then you have to keep away from them to protect yourself from them. If, however, you have grown out of them, you have neither hatred or longing for them. So you have to grow out of your likes and dislikes. Don't give up your likes and dislikes. If you give up your likes, then you are still attached to it. Likes for wealth, like for money, grow out of it. It's difficult. Growing out is difficult. It needs matured mind. Growing out needs a mature mind. It needs the right attitude. Therefore, Bhagwan says, so with reference to number of things, you are a Nitya Sannyasi. But with reference to other things, you are not a sannyasi at all. As long as there are things without which you cannot live, you cannot call yourself a sannyasi. Because there are things that still bind you and upon which you depend for your sense of well-being. Till you are dependent, even though you are a sannyasi with reference to few things, but not a sannyasi with reference to other things, I cannot call you a Nitya Sannyasi. Nitya Sannyasi refer to the person who is a sannyasi in all situation. He has grown out of everything. Even wealth, even home, big palaces. He has grown out of. He has not given up. You may give up and become a sannyasi, but then you are still attached to it. And when you grow out of things, grow out of your wealth, grow out of your likes and dislikes, Nitya Sannyasi refers to a person who is a sannyasi in all situations. If this is not the case, then you are a Kadachit Sannyasi. Only meaning that you are a sannyasi whenever you comfort certain things. Otherwise you are not. When you have a fight with your wife and go out to Rishikesh, you are a sannyasi, then your mind towards your wealth, my business, my car, my house. You are not sannyasi for that. Therefore, you are a Kadachit Sannyasi. Kadachit Sannyasi. Sannyasi whenever you confront things, certain things. Otherwise you are not. The Nitya Sannyasi. There are also times when you can be a sannyasi with reference to everything. Moment when you are totally free, when you do not need anything. For instance, in your seat of meditation, you may feel that you are everything. When you meditate, at such time you do not need anything other than yourself. Meditation is being with oneself. Meditation doesn't mean stopping your thoughts. Meditation is being oneself. Being with oneself and letting all other thoughts subside. Not stopping them, but subsiding them. That is meditation. Just be with yourself. Being with oneself is meditation. Meditation is sadhan, one of the very greatest sadhan for knowledge. Being with oneself. Take a deep breath and be with oneself. Enjoying with oneself. This is meditation. Meditation doesn't mean stopping thoughts. Meditation doesn't mean renouncing anything, any thought or even. Meditation is just being with oneself. Being with yourself is you are the topic because you are the topic. Being with the topic is meditation. Right now, you are meditating. If you are with yourself, you may feel you are everything. At such time, you do not need anything other than yourself. You are purna, full, complete. That's meditation. Purna. Because you are Purnam. You are completeness. This is the topic. This is the Jnana. You can experience a total contentment with yourself, which is sannyasa. That particular moment, you are a sannyasi. You are definitely a sannyasi whenever you are happy. Because whenever you are fully 100% happy, you are with yourself. Anand, that is happiness. World does not seem to have anything to demand your attention, which is exactly what is meant by sannyasa. There is no longing or hatred, no raga, no dvesha. At that moment, you are totally free person, a sannyasi. Everyone is sannyasi in that way occasionally. With reference to everything, but being only for the moment. This is kadachit sannyasa, not nitya sannyasa. This is kadachit sannyasa. Who is nitya sannyasi then? The one who neither hates nor longs for anything. One has longed to avoid things and also to have things. Both are longings. However, when one wants to avoid things, we do not call it longing. We call it dvesha, hatred or dislike. A sannyasi is not bound by raga and dvesha. That is, he or she is not under the spell of likes and dislikes. Only such a person can be a nitya sannyasi. To be free from raga, dvesha with reference to everything means one is not affected by presence or absence of given thing. One is not overwhelmed or afraid in presence of things, some things. And one does not miss something when it is not there. Sannyasa will not work if it is an escape. If you want to escape from something, sannyasa is not going to work. Escape from your debtors. Sannyasa is not going to work, sir. Sorry. Sannyasa is not merely giving up duties. It is very easy to give up your duties, especially those that are cumbersome and difficult. In fact, your tendency to avoid them, you always want to escape from any situation that is painful or difficult to handle. Therefore, sannyasa can become an escape. You do not become strong by escaping situation. Only by facing them do you become strong. By escaping, you become necessarily weak. You may think you have avoided something, but in fact, that was what really happened is that you have lost something. Most of the times, avoiding difficult situations, escaping difficult situations, you lose time, the precious time. You lose your strength. Escape means you have yielded to the enormity of the problem. By running away from the problem, no matter how enormous it is, you become weaker. Escape has another disadvantage. It is in that in the future you will find it necessary to run away from lesser problems. With each escape, you lose the strength you would have gained by remaining and facing the problem. For you become stronger with every problem you face, whether you are successful or not. Don't worry about your success or failure towards a situation, towards a problem. Face it. Don't try to avoid problems. Avoiding problems makes it enormous. Don't avoid. Never. They take up your strength. They take up your time. Whether successful or unsuccessful, just do it and finish it. Leave it to God. Karma Yoga. Do it and leave it. Don't waste your time in problems by escaping them. Don't lose your time and your strength. Krishna wants Arjuna to know that one does not really grow by running away from duties, however painful they may be, nor does one become a sannyasi. Escaping from problems don't make you sannyasi, sir, in the real sense. In fact, giving up the duties that are to be done, kevala karma sannyasa is exactly what is not to be done. Only the person who neither dislikes nor longs for anything is sannyasi. According to Shankaracharya ji, a nitya sannyasi can be understood as an absolute as well as in relative sense. Relatively, Shankaracharya ji explains a nitya sannyasi as a karma yogi, one who may have raga dvesha but who does not come under their spell. In an absolute sense, a nitya sannyasi is one who has the self-knowledge and is therefore total free from raga dvesha. If you are afraid of karma and you choose sannyasa as a lifestyle in order to avoid it, then you are definitely under the spell of your raga dvesha. A sannyasi is one who is not under the spell. A sannyasi is not under the spell of raga and dvesha. The fear of karma is dvesha. And the love for sannyasa is raga. If sannyasa is an object of your raga, it will not work. It will not work for you. As a karma yogi, however, you have an opportunity to release yourself from the spell of raga dvesha. By living a life of karma yoga, you allow your raga dvesha to manifest themselves. And at the same time, you are able to manage them effectively. This is karma yoga. The ability to remain free from their spell is what makes you a karma yogi, which is why karma yoga is referred to as buddhi yoga, the yoga of attitude. In the second chapter, where their buddhi means a particular attitude towards what is to be done, what is not to be done, and also towards the results of action. That attitude is karma yoga. attitude towards what is to be done, what is not to be done, and the result, that attitude. Towards the result of action, there is a prasad buddhi, an attitude. For all the results, it is prasad buddhi. What you sow, so you get. What you offer to the Lord, that is the prasada. So offer your karmas to God. You will get right prasada. Gift from the Lord. With reference to action itself, you conform to dharma, which is looked upon as Ishvara. This is called Ishvara Apana Buddhi, an attitude of offering your actions to the Lord. These two attitudes, namely Prasada Buddhi and Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, constitute Karma Yoga. This is what we have been discussing every day. Prasada Buddhi and Ishvara Arpana Buddhi constitutes Karma Yoga. The attitude maintained in the midst of activities make you Karma Yogi and free you from the spell of Raga and Dvesha. There is no problem once you are sannyasi, even relatively, but until then you need to live a life of Karma Yogi. This is why Krishna describes Nitya Sannyasi in this verse as Nirvandhava, one who is free of the pairs of opposites. Opposites here stand for ragas and dveshas, success and failure, pleasant and unpleasant, pleasant and unpleasant situations, and so on. Such situations are dvandvas. Dvandvas, opposites. These dvandvas are always there. And because of your raga, dvesha, they can bind you. They are bondage. Mastery over likes and dislikes. The world does not bind you, nor do the events that take place. What bind you is only your raga, dvesha, dvandvas. All the opposites can reduce to ragas and dveshas. And therefore, one who is free from the hold of raga, dvesha is nirdvandva. In fact, even the opposite themselves do not really bind you. They are simply facts of life. Not getting what you want is always in terms of raga. That is, certain situations are not in keeping with your likes. You want something to happen which may not happen. Instead, the opposite may happen. It is the very nature, the order of things. Not because the world is too much for your raga, dvesha bad, but simply because that is how it is. Since you are not omniscient, you are not free from raga, dveshas. And since you are not omnipotent, they will often remain unfulfilled. If you were almighty, all powerful, then you could fulfill all your raga, dvesha, but you are not. The only way out then is to have mastery over your ragas and dveshas. To the extent you have such mastery, to the extent you will have mastery over your life, over the world, management of your emotional life, spiritual life. In fact, everything can be narrowed down to the management of these two things, ragas and dveshas. This is why psychology of entire Gita Shastra is based on ragas and dveshas. So in order to be a jnani, in order to gain moksha, freedom from bondage, you must be a nitya sannyasi. A nitya sannyasi is either a jnani or accomplished karma yogi. An accomplished karma yogi is a sannyasi. Anyone who has the maturity, who is not in the hands of raga, dvesha, is sannyasi. Whether he or she has an external symbol doesn't matter. Whatever clothes you wear doesn't matter. This is the person who is fit to be released from bondage, who has control over raga dveshas. The one who has control over ragas and dveshas, who is not under control of ragas and dveshas, is sannyasi. Ragas and dveshas don't control him anymore. Failure and success happens. Profits and losses happens. People come and go. There should be no ragas, no attachment. The one who has no attachment is sannyasi. He is released from the bondage. Bhagavan also says that for such a person the release is effortless. Sukham pramuchet. If a person is ready, mature and not in the hands of raga, dvesha, there is nothing that can deny him or her from knowledge. If one is free, there is then no bondage. If there is no bondage, then knowledge is there. Therefore, the release from bondage is indeed effortless. Sukham can be translated as happily here. Happily, the person is released from the bondage if one is prepared. The one must be prepared. Moksha is only aim for karma yogi. A karmi is interested in karma phalas, which are many and varied, and for which person performs a variety of actions. However, if the karmi becomes a karma yogi, he or she will not be doing these actions for heaven, power, wealth, or something else, because the person has no interest in such things. The karma yogi is interested in moksha. The topic. Keeps on doing the karma. He keeps on doing the business. And in business he may get wealth, he may not get. He is not worried. He is not bound with that wealth. He does a ritual for heaven, but that is not his objective. The objective is moksha. The person, the karma yogi, he or she will not be doing these actions. While doing, he will not be doing. That is karma yoga. Being a karta, he is a karta. The person who does not have moksha as the only end cannot be a karma yogi. He or she is only a karmi, also known as a karmata, one who is interested in various ends the action can provide. The person who is interested in heaven is not a karma yogi. The person who is interested in heaven is not a karma yogi. He is interested in things. The one who is interested in things is not a karma yogi. Even though he or she may think that heaven is the same as moksha. No, sir. Objects are not moksha. Because it promises certain security and pleasure. Such a person is not karma yogi, but a artha kama kami. Artha kama kami. One who desires security and pleasure. One who then is karma yogi, the one who goes about doing various actions that are to be done purely for his or her own antakaran shuddhi. The preparation of the mind that is required in order to be freed from raga, dvesha. Fulfillment of raga, dvesha is not a criteria of karma yogi. Fulfillment of raga, dvesha is not the criteria. His or her motive is rather than to gain mastery over ragas and dveshas. In fact, antakaran shuddhi is itself a kind of moksha. Freedom from the hold of ragas and dvesha. It is the first moksha. The first moksha is getting free from ragas and dveshas. Then freedom from the sense of bondage, from ajnana, is the ultimate moksha. One is of the nature of maturity and the other is nature of jnana. If you are matured, you are not attached to ragas and dveshas. You are liberated. Matured person. Maturity itself is accomplishment for which one takes to life of karma yoga and then one gains knowledge. Giving up and performing activity can only have the same end in view of moksha. One person gives up action and gain moksha, while other continues his or her activity and gain moksha. But how can this be? Should there be not a difference in what is accomplished when the means are different? If the means are different, shouldn't the result be different? Surely there should be a different result when one performs action and then when does not. This was Arjuna's thinking. Krishna addresses Arjuna's doubt from the standpoint of phala, result. In verse number 4 and 5, moksha is the end of both karma yoga and sannyasa. This we will see tomorrow. Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om